What is up? What is going on, guys? It is your boy Lorcy Loves You here, and I'm here to talk about the latest Victory Award tournament that was just hosted last weekend. We have some kind of crazy results of Pokemon that I think has been creeping up in usage, but now has asserted its dominance and is a contender for potentially winning the World Championships. As you guys know, the World Championships is about maybe 3 weeks and a couple days away. So these Victory Road results really do matter, which kind of shape how the format or the meta will go into the World Championship. So we're going to break it down today and talk about the top 8, maybe top 16 teams and see what we like, what we think is good, and just thoughts on Worlds as a whole. I just want to say thank you guys so much for liking and subscribing and showing the channel so much support. We've grown tremendously on YouTube, so I really do appreciate that. Every comment matters, every like, every share of the video matters, and I appreciate all the help on all social media platforms. So yeah, let's break this down and let's talk about the team. Yep, this is the Victory Road Challenge from August 1st and 2nd. About 194 players, so pretty low usage. Pretty low amount of players playing in the tournament, but still, we had some high quality players playing in the tournament. Take a briefly look at how many. Look at the top 16. We'll start from top 16. Actually, there is a lot of Raichu, guys. There is a lot of Raichu. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I think this is better. Yeah, there's a lot of Raichu in this top 16. Top 32, I would say, right? This top 32? No, top 27. So we got Fetty Campo using. Why is this out here? We got Fetty Campo using the what is this? Charizard slop stuff. Self-explanatory team, right? Everybody knows this is all good stuff. No crazy changes. The only change I do see on this team that's a little bit trending is going from timid Floette to modest Floette. I think they just want extra damage, and since the team kind of cycled out in usage, I think it's fair use to try to get that extra damage with the modest Floette. You do have King Gambit. Chopple has been picking up for attack, is probably one of the better move sets you want on any type of former speed control team because you just take advantage of every move. I think all four moves are pretty necessary on a team like this. Iron Head to hit those opposing fairy types. Kowtow, Sucker, just really solid moves, and low kicks for the opposing King Gambit and or Incineroars. I think that this is, like I said, and if you guys watch my videos, you guys know that I'm very big on 4 attacking Gambit. I've talked about it many times early on, even in Regulation MA, I was a big fan, and I'm glad to see that people have been using it. Due to the abundance of Star Raptor teams, fighting moves have been picking up a lot in usage. Besides Sneasler, you have Star Raptor clicking close combat, and you also have Raichu clicking maybe an Aura Sphere, or not Aura Sphere, Focus Blast. And yeah, this just makes a lot of sense. Right now, fighting moves is the trending topic or the trending move. So King Gambit having that Chopper Berry to withstand those hits makes a lot of sense. Life Orb Garchomp, nothing really changed on that. And then another damage boosting item with the Basque Legion because you just want to hit hard, right? This team is all about hitting hard, and it's very strong team, obviously proven. Don't really need to talk about that. This is the team I believe that won the last VR. So yeah, same stuff. It's still a pretty solid team. Like we've been talking about Star Raptor. Star Raptor has been picking up in usage. Very strong Pokemon, and I think it's here to stay. Like usually, you see Pokemon trend in or come in some of these tournaments, and they kind of phase out like very quickly. And Star Raptor, 2 weeks being placed really high shows that it's not going anywhere anytime soon, guys. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. And yeah, pretty much the same stuff that we talked about last week. Not really going to harp too much on it. We'll talk like a Kinu. Kinu is a strong player. He's from the West Coast, I believe, if I'm wrong. So yeah, this is just Zard with Ensign. No King Gambit, Ensign instead. Like I said, strong stuff. And people, like I said, have been using modest Floette, which makes a lot of sense on a team like this. King Gambit over Incineroar. I think that's just personal preference, but the team is still strong nonetheless. So yeah, the team is really good. It's not more to talk about Zard stuff, and yeah, the team is good. Not gonna harp too much on that. Raichu. So right. Oh, thanks. So Raichu is Okay, cool. I got food. Raichu is a funny Pokemon, right? Raichu is one of those Pokemon that we were not sure about in the beginning of the format, right? We were not sure about in the beginning of the format. We thought it was just too weak, not strong enough to be used. But as of late, due to the usage of Staraptor, Raichu has been seeing a lot of usage, right? And I do think this is another mega that is going to be here to stay due to the rising usage of Staraptor and just it overall just being a scam Pokemon, right? You have the Zap Cannon that's able to paralyze a lot of the opposing foes when you Mega, and it hits pretty darn hard. And you could bulk out this Pokemon. To round out the team, this player has King Gambit with Swords Dance, so utilizing King Gambit as a potential sweeper. Basculin, we've been seeing Mystic Water, just wanting to hit hard. We do have speed control, so this is a dual mega team, and that's something that you're going to see a lot with these Raichu teams. They're not just going to be solo mega; they're going to be dual mega with options, right? And Aerodactyl makes a lot of sense because it's a Pokemon that you could use when you mega and when you don't need to mega. So I do like the fact that this trainer does have Aerodactyl on the team. Being able to have Ice Fang, Dual Wing Beat, Rock Slide, and Tailwind support is really, really nice. Sneasler, your basic sash. Well, I wouldn't say basic, right? It's Jolly, no White Herb, and it's just Focus Sash. So just wanting to withstand hits. And Sylveon. Sylveon is going to be a common pair that you see with a lot of Raichu teams, and it just makes a lot of sense as well. If you're going to be paralyzing opposing Pokemon, potentially your Sylveon could be faster than those Pokemon and dish out a lot of damage with that Fairy, Feather, Hyper Voice, and or Hyper Beam. So this is a common pair that you'll see with Raichu a lot, and we'll probably see more of these two being paired, or even these three, right? Raichu, King Gambit, and Sylveon going into the teams here. The Annihilate Toxapex stuff, we've been seeing it since God knows how long. Not really going to talk about that, but we'll talk about Nightwind. I don't know who they are. I'll take a look. Let's see. Oh, they follow me. But they're from Singapore. Okay, cool. Nice. So a player from Singapore here, using the team to beat. The team to beat. And we'll talk about that more later in the video. But yeah, pretty simple spreads. This team was used by, I forgot what Japanese player made this pretty popular in the last VR, but had a very good result. And from there, actually we could potentially just look, right? We have it up. 1 second. Let me see. Yeah, 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah, this is the no, this is not the last VR. This is this VR. Oops. Okay, hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Okay, I think this is it. Okay, yeah. So Yuto used this team to get second, losing to Pedro, right? So people have been trying to, I guess, copy the team. It's pretty solid, right? You have Intimidate, Dual Mega, um, King Gambit with Swords Dance, being able to boost yourselves as well. So 3 high damage. I think King Gambit, Arcanine, and Sylveon are really some of the best non-mega Pokemon you could use because of just the damage output that it puts, right? Arcanine being able to KO Charizards even at -1, obviously with Head Smash. Sylveon just putting out that spread damage and or, you know, KOing potential King Gambits with just a single on Hyper Beam. And Hyper Beam in general just doing a lot. Quick Attack, pretty good when you can get opposing Pokemon up to Sash. So yeah, pretty strong stuff. Raptor just kind of like makes a thing. It gives you like a little bit of a balancy kind of mode. Getting intimidated and setting up Tailwind for your team is really really great. And then I guess you have the Fur Draft because you don't want to deal with any fake out shenanigans. And Trick Room and Sylvan, we do know, have been really really good within Regulation MA and MB. So seeing that with King Gambit obviously makes a lot of sense too because all of these Pokemon, King Gambit, Sylveon, are very good within Trick Room. So you have like I would say like 3 modes to the team, right? You have the Raichu Fake Out, Zap Cannon, blah blah blah, get damage off with these potential 3 Pokemon here. Uh and then you also have a Trick Room mode where you could lead Farigiraf and potentially King Gambit or Sylveon, with a Mega in the back, probably the Staraptor. So so the idea is you lead Trick Room, get as much damage off, trade well within Trick Room, and then late game you could potentially get a Tailwind up and have your team be faster and still hit the opposing team members for good damage. So I do like teams with multiple concepts, and I think that this is a team with a lot of options. It does look a little bit weather weak, but not so much, right? Sylveon is pretty good on the special defense end, so it's really good into rain and potentially sun teams. Raichu also being faster than Charizard is really good. Arcanine as well being faster than all the Charizards right now because the Charizards are opting for bulk and they're going modest. They're usually never timid max speed. So Arcanine outpacing those makes a lot of sense. And you'll also have Tailwind to to do well into opposing Tailwind teams as well. So I really do like this. This is a really strong team, and I'm looking forward to seeing how well it does in the upcoming events as well, because we still have 3 weeks until the World Championships. So yeah, let's see where were we at? Yeah, we just finished 18. Oh my god, these ads, man. I want to support, but give me a second. Okay. Oh, this team. We haven't seen this team in a while. So this is the Eric Rios second place team from NAIC. Still kicking, right? Still kicking. Nothing has really changed. This is just the same stuff that were on the team that did well at NAIC. I'm not a big fan of it currently in the meta, but the fact that it did so well in this VR, I think that this could potentially just be a team. Like if you don't know what you're using for the World Championship and you need something that's potentially just solid into most things, this is a team that you could use because you could outplay. You could definitely outplay with a team like this. So yeah, pretty nice. We have William Brown, 16th place, using weather, dual weather. You guys know he is one of the co-inventors of this dual weather team. I think with Lexicon BGC. I think he's the host. I don't think I know he's the host of like Top Takes and also multiple time regional champion. Also, William Brown has had a really good season. Probably one of the top leaders in championship points currently in NA. And yeah, so he's still using dual weather, but he added Swampert, I believe, on the team. And any changes other than that, not so much. Nothing really looks crazy here. Just the same dual weather stuff. I forgot what was over Swampert, but I'm assuming Swampert is to cover for a certain matchup. And I'm probably just testing as well. So good player, just using good Pokemon. The fifth, I don't think this Pokemon really matters here. I think it could be whatever you kind of want it to be. So he chose Swampert, and not mad at that. And he got top 16 at an event like this, so it's still pretty strong. Pex stuff still doing well, still kicking. Counterback's using the same team as William Brown, but Ape over. What is Ape over? Charizard. So no, this is just a rain solid. This is just a rain team. No dual weather. Just a rain team. Just annihilate over Charizard, and this is really good into these bouncy kind of teams. You have coaching to coach up that Swampert, and even the defense stats of your team potentially. And yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't see any problems with this. This is an intimidate deterrent as well. So Ensign can't lead Ensign or Star After freely into this team without boosting Annihilate's attack. So that's something you got to be a little bit wary about. But well, we do know that Star After is kind of good into Annihilate. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm a fan of Annihilate, but they obviously did well. They know better than me. More Zard Slop, Juan Fee. Argentina's one of Argentina's best players, Juan Fee. Let's see if they're trending modest. So a lot of these top players are just opting for modest on this team. And yeah, Citrus over Life Orb on the Garchomp. So longevity over damage makes somewhat sense, right? They're obviously using it for a reason. It could be a certain calc or something, but they just want to live, withstand, and just do more damage over time rather than just getting it off immediately. Basically, just going to hit hard with that Life Orb instead of that Mystic Water that they opt for. So still a hard hitting Pokemon as well. Chople can Gambit for attack, guys. Like I said, it's probably going to be the standard going forward. No more Protect. King Gambit just wants to be able to trade effectively, especially within Tailwind turns, and being able to have Iron Head and Low Kick on a Pokemon like this is really, really, really game changing. Especially into Star Raptor teams. Like you kind of want our Iron Head to dish out damage because if they give you the +1, you could actually hit it. If you don't have Iron Head, Kowtow, Sucker, or Low Kick is not doing that much damage to Staraptor, and everything else is self-explanatory with this team. Let's see. Oh, I haven't seen this in a while. So this is like the Zard team that beat Wolf in Indianapolis, but I think there's a Sinistra over Grimmsnarl because Grimmsnarl was introduced in Regulation MB. So yeah, so this is like the similar team that Wolf lost against to. I think the player's name. I don't. I think it's the last name is. I don't know their. I forgot their name, and I don't want to be rude and butcher their name here. But he played phenomenally in that final set, and the team seems like the team's all right. I think the team's all right. Team's all right. You have the Calm Mind, Draining Kiss, Floette, no Dazzling Gleam, opting for just single target attacks, Moonblast and Draining Kiss, and Scarf Chomp, rounded out with Insane and Grimmsnarl being your defensive options on the team. Venusaur, man, Venusaur is everywhere. Venusaur is everywhere. Yeah, how many Venusaurs are in this top 20? So we have one, two, three, four, five Venusaur so far. Wow, it's a lot of Venusaurs. My favorite team, Gustav Hedgar Lunder from is that Denmark? Do I know my? I don't know. I don't know my countries. But yeah, this is my favorite team in the world. No quick guard, funny enough. No quick guard. Psychic over Side Shock makes a lot of sense. I like that. And Scarf Sham. So a lot of changes, but you still keep that Akka. Still keep that Akka berry on the Sinistra here. So yeah, this is just a really solid balance team. I think balance is on the uptrend a little bit, just ticking just a bit. Before it was not looking too good for balanced teams, but seeing our first balanced team, this is like our first legit balancey. No, we had another balanced team in 21. We It's just Blastoise balance stuff, so your common stuff, but two out of yeah, I think two is good out of 27 to 11. I'll take that. And then we have Code, Anisha Catwell. Let me see, Code VGC, Texas VGC player. So surrounded by a lot. We had a lot of good Texas players, I think, do well at this event as well. So Code VGC using the team populated by the Italians that ran the Muck and Turin regionals and also had a good showing in NAC. And I think every event after, like this team has had somewhat success ever since it's been made. Any changes to the team? They added Thunderbolt on Frostlass. So not opting for the Aurora, going for Thunderbolt, and everything else looks the same. You have the Swords Dance King Gambit, you have the Sneasler, and the Lycanroc for those Charizard teams, and Skullvillain with Super Fang, actually. Okay, very interesting. Skullvillain with Super Fang, that is a lot different. I think before they have maybe Giga Drain or maybe Leech Seed. I'm not too sure. But Super Fang is very, very interesting. I think the Basket Legion is actually slower than the Skull Villain. So you're able to Super Fang and maybe Wave Crash and or Last Respect Sting. So I like that. And also Skull Villain being faster than King Gambit. So you could Super Fang and Kowtows and stuff for good damage. And I like that change a lot. I think that Skull Villain is one of the few best megas going into Worlds because of the fact that we're in a physical meta. A lot of teams are opting for physical type attackers such as King Gambit, Star Raptor, you name it. So being able to potentially burn these Pokemon could be really good as long as you have the fundamental pieces behind it to support it. Because once Scovillain goes down, you need to take advantage of all those spicy burns, spicy burns. So yeah, the team gets 10th and ninth. Let's see if it's the same variation. No, so it's the original variation of the team. Yeah, so this is definitely a strong team. Definitely a strong team. And I believe this is a Parish Trap with Swampert. Yep. So you have two options: dual Mega with Rain. Komomo seeing a lot of usage as of late as well. We've seen the Life Orb and Clanger Souls. It makes a lot of sense on the team. You have Fake Out and Redirection. So I think Komomo's in a well positioned spot as well, depending on what set you use. That's your preference, but I think that the Life Orb set has some very good use case, and the Clanging Soul set as was something that we've been using. Life Orb is something newer, but I think on this team it makes a lot of sense to have this setup variant because you have Incineroar with Fake Out, and then you also have Rage Powder to redirect hits. So a lot of options on this team. You can go for Parachute Trap, you can go for setup, you can go for, the rain mode being very, very fast. Yeah. We're seeing a lot of teams with multiple options do really, really well. Another balanced team that's probably like a third, a fourth balanced team. Well, this is a little different. Right now, we're getting into the top 8. So look at the top 8 teams. Yeah, we already talked about the Gengar stuff. We already talked about Delphox. Now, let's talk about Lewis Markham. Lewis Markle is a player to watch. He is been killing the scene literally um, this this season with VR cuts, with cutting at events. Yeah, you could see it on there with the release of Pokemon Champ Time once in a coaching slot, 7 top cuts, 2-time regional finalists, 10 time, well, probably 11 victory road because he has it in his bio, and top 32 worlds at last year. So probably one of the best players out of Europe currently. Um, and his stats, yeah, numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. They're a very good player. Uh, and they have opted for, it's very important, if especially if you're a balanced player like myself, I keep tabs on these kind of players because anything they could do, I could do, So I just want to see what's his mindset. But he's been using the same team that he's been using, I think, for a while. I think even in regulation MA. So Sash Sinistra, very different from most Sinistras that you see, usually opting for a berry, but going Sash, max probably modest, max modest, max speed. So this Sinistra actually hits for very good damage because Sinistra has like base 120 special attack. So it's going to hit very, very hard with those matcha gachas and or shadow balls. And you have a helping hand. So I could only imagine how much a helping hand matcha gacha and shadow ball could do to opposing Pokemon. Uh, Definitely probably KO's Basque Legion. Definitely like things like that. Like certain knockouts you wouldn't even think pick up, probably pick up with Sinistra. And if it's like a bulkier variant of Basque Legion, like the one that we saw from the Frostlass teams, I think that well, pretty much this Sinister, you probably can assume that it outpaces a very bulky basketball team. So I'm very interested to see the calcs and the interactions between that, because that could potentially come up within a match. Because Basket Legion is probably one of the most used water types currently in Regulation MB. So yeah, I'm very interested to see that. So Calm Mind, Dazzling Gleam, Draining Kiss. So your super standard balance team, other than this Sinistra, everything just makes sense. And I believe that they're a player that just has been sticking with balance throughout the whole year and probably the best balance player so far this season, without a doubt. And kudos to him. Congrats to him. Marcus Cole. I think I know who this is. I think I know. Yes. I know. I know that. Yeah, yeah. I've seen them on streams, getting fifth, using Zard. So tired of seeing the scene, but not opting for the 4 attack. But Ancient Power, very interesting. This is probably going to see some usage going into the World Championships. You'll definitely see it at Worlds. Just for the mirror, right? It's so good in the mirror against opposing Charizard teams. Not only having to rely on your guard charm, you could just straight up lead your Charizard into a lead, such as like Whimsicott. And let's say if your opponent leads Whimsicott and Charizard, your Charizard now having Ancient Power sets up a pretty decent board where you're just getting off straight damage, because you could just literally just click Heat Wave, because you don't want, like, your opponent doesn't want to just lose their Charizard to an Ancient Power. They might have to reset, regroup, depending on that. Sometimes they might not even check the team sheet. They'll just see that it's just Charizard stuff, and you'll be surprised how many people just be like not looking at this team sheet stuff. But nonetheless, Ancient Power is very good for the mirror, and yeah, this is some solid stuff. Akaberry over Chapel. Uh, like, I don't know. I feel like you're so Zard proof to the point where this might not even be needed. And you're also kind of good into Delphox now with Ancient Power, because you could just straight up just hit Ancient Power into the opposing Delphox teams, which is really, 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 really good. And if you get that boost, man, forget about it. But yeah, pretty interesting on the Rosalie Berry for the fairy type. So this player has opted for damage mitigation while also having a good option into the mirror. And rounding it out with Basque Legion is going to hit hard with that Life Orb and Floette, and opting for Timid. So pretty good against opposing Floette because they just move fast. All right. Now there's damn, so much Zard, man. Another Zard team, but this one's not using Ancient Power. This is just your standard Zard again. Not going to harp too much on it. We've talked so much about this, but things like obviously to pay attention to: modest flow four attack King Gambit. So be on the lookout for that. And Johnzu's a player out of Texas. He's also he's had a pretty decent season as well. I think getting second or top four at a regional. I think this is probably his breakout year. Just having just really, really good results, and also getting the stipend for Brazil 2026 or 2027 season. I think that's the next season. I think. Uh, Getting the stipend to go to Brazil because he had a phenomenal run going into NEIC. Yeah, Scoville and stuff again. Opting for Giga Drain over Super Fang. Super Fang is very interesting, and I think they did have Thunderbolt as well. So a lot of coverage for these water types. I think Thunderbolt. I don't know why would they use Thunderbolt. I probably have to read the doc. I think the player updated the doc for this team, but yeah, opting for that Thunderbolt and having Sword Dance King Gambit and no bulky Basque, just straight up Mystic. So opting for more damage over bulk. Yeah, but Johnson's a good player, and I think he's surrounded by good players as well. So kind of makes sense to see him do well. If you know, you know, like you're gonna get better over time. And Jonzu is a player that's gotten a lot better within his BDC career. So I'm very excited to see him get a very good place in VR. All right, enough yapping. We're up to the last two teams. Oh my god, I need a water. But we have the two Japanese players, Ohei Kaida and Kazuki Agushi. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I apologize. Ohei Kaida is Suika. And I don't know who this player is, but we'll take a look at Suika's team and we'll take a look at Kazuki's team because there is some differences. So, okay, this is wait. Let me not get confused. Who is this? This is actually, let's reset because I'm gonna get confused. All right, we'll start off with Suika. So Suika has these the Raichu team that I said you guys need to be on the lookout for. But not having that Focus Blast, they're going to have Encore. Encore is a very interesting move in BGC. Um, a fast Pokemon with Encore is usually really, really good. Why is it really, really good? But you're asking me, like, why, Lorcy, why do you think Encore with a fast Pokemon is really, really good? Because a fast Encore means the Pokemon can't really protect. Most Pokemon can't protect them in front of it. Like Arcanine, Staraptor, Farigiraf, Sylveon, and King Gambit all can't protect in front of this Raichu because if it does, potentially it could get encored in to protect the next turn. So allowing yourself to have an easier board to kind of go for damaging moves with your team is really, 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 really good. So opting to drop the Focus Blast for that makes a lot of sense because you do have a lot of coverage into those fighting type. With the fighting type move, you have Staraptor, and I think you want to be clicking close combat into things like King Gambit and just in general just to boost your special defense and defense. Yeah, makes sense. And Arcanine as well is another option to hit those, King Gambits and whatever you want to call it. So I do understand the option for Encore. It's a really, really strong move. And everything else is the same that what we've been seeing, right? So this team has been picking up a lot in usage. Suika is also a phenomenal player, so I'm not surprised at the result. And the winner has just Focus Blast, no Encore on all same sets. So as we are seeing from this trending team, is that it's good. It's good. It's good. It's going to be used at Worlds for sure. Many players are going to use this. It's been proven. Obviously, the last VR, now this VR, this is going to be on the radar of a lot of prep for your teams going into the World Championships. This is something that you should always have lines into because it's just that strong at this point. You can't ignore it. Dual Mega Staraptor Raichu, rounding it out, like I said, with Sylveon, Arcanine, and King Gambit, one of the three best damaging non-megas in the format. So, yeah, we talked about how many modes. There's about 3 modes to this team, right? Like having 2 megas gives you already 2 modes. And the Fergraph Trick Room gives you that 3rd mode, right, with this team. So, really strong stuff. I like it a lot. I haven't tested it, nor I haven't played it, but if I were to guess, a couple teams that are probably strong into this is maybe somewhat of a sand team. Maybe Excadrill T-Tar stuff could be potentially really, really good, but also the team has Staraptor to deal with those sand teams. So Yeah, I could see like maybe a Staraptor, Sylveon lead into opposing sand stuff. But yeah, like still like Excadrill is like really, really potentially decent into the team if you could deal with the Staraptor immediately. Um, and I don't know what else. Potentially rain teams could be a bit annoying, especially Swampert. I think maybe that's why a lot of players are opting for Swampert. Swampert actually has some great use case in front of everything here besides like the Staraptor. But like, yeah, Swampert's going to hit your Arcanines, it's going to hit your Kingambits. Raichu can't even touch it, right? Also, Sylveon Hyper Voice. Swampert has some decent bulk, so it will be able to withstand at least a Hyper Voice and maybe even a Hyper Beam at full and dish out damage. But like I said, this team has another option, which is that Staraptor and potentially a Trick Room option with Furgraph and Sylveon that could potentially be good into those rain teams. So yeah, if I were to pick a team to work on or prep against going into the World Championships out of these selected top 8 teams, I think first of all, I think you should already have prep into balance. I think that's just you must at this point. Maybe get your Gengar lines correct. Obviously, Swampert is an addition to the team that makes a lot of sense now. Looking at Raichu's usage, makes a lot of sense. And the Skullvillain stuff, I think Skullvillain is going to be a very good pick going into Worlds, especially this team right here used by Jonathan and many others. But yeah, that's going to be it, guys. That's going to be it for the video. Thank you so much for the support. That was just a quick grab of the last VR results. We have many more to go before the World Championship, so still more variations and more team progressions to go and meta progressions to go. So I'll be covering all of that going into the World Championships. I'll also be competing at the World Championships, so I need to be doing this because it's although it helps you, it helps me. So thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, do whatever they say that some YouTubers do, whatever they, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not a YouTuber. Bye.